My OLORO deck works like this. We have Toon Link as our commander. He has been an altered piece because I like Link and we want to make him a little more lovable. At the beginning of our turns, we'll gain 2 life if he's in the command zone or on the battlefield. First off, let's go through the ways we're going to win. We have Test of Endurance, where if we, at the beginning of our turn, we have 50 or more life, we win the game. Now, I also would typically play with Felidar Sovlin, where if we have 40 or more life at the beginning of our turn, we would win the game as well, but my friends just don't like this card. But they're okay with that one, so I don't play with this one in my deck because my play group doesn't like it. But I do have Infinite Combo with Sanguine Bond and Exquisite Blood. Basically, if we gain life, an opponent loses life, and whenever an opponent loses life, we gain life, so Infinite Combo, just life loop. And then we can also win with Revel in Riches and Smothering Tide. If we happen to have a lot of treasures, it's nice to be able to win through our treasures. And then we get into some of our life gains. So we have Rhox Faithmender. He doubles our life, so if we gain 2 life, we'd gain 4 life. If we gain 4 life, we gain 8 life. And it can be immensely incredible because every turn we'll be gaining 2 life because of our commander. But if we have that out, we're gaining 4 life a turn. And then with Kambal, whenever an opponent plays a non-creature spell, they lose 2 life and we gain 2 life, which is very good for us. And then every turn, if we gained life, we create a 5/5 horse with our Crested Sunmare, and our horses are indestructible, so we can get a huge board out with all of that. And then Serra Ascendant, just to basically in this deck, it's a 6/6 lifelink flying for 1 mana. That's just a good creature because 1 mana, it's well worth spent. And then for our protection of our creatures, we have Hyena Umbra and Lightning Greaves. And then here is where we have our other win condition of creating huge, powerful creatures with Light of Promise and Sunbond. So whenever we gain life with either of these 2 cards, we get that our creature gets that many +1 counters. So if we gain 5 life, our creature would get 5 counters. And then we have some creatures that will give themselves counters themselves, like Ajani's Pridemate, Bloodthirsty Aerialist, Archangel of Thune. And then this Wall of Reverence, whenever at the end step, so at the end of our turn, say if a creature has a power of 5, then we gain 5 life. But then say if we have those enchantments that give us, whenever we gain that life, we get that many counters. So then if we gain that 5 life, the creature gets the 5 counters, and then it can just double every turn. So it goes 5 to 10, and then the next turn we'd get 20 counters on him. And so that creature just gets immensely huge. And if they're flying, lifelink, we can just be getting insanely huge creatures, and we have a way to make them unblockable as well in the deck. And then we have Authority of Consuls, so whenever creatures enter the battlefield with this or this, we get 1 life, so it just helps us in our life gain endeavors. Avacyn of Angel of Hope makes all our stuff indestructible, which helps give protection. So say if we have that 50/50 Ajani's Pridemate, so he's just giant, he's also indestructible, helps him not die, even though he'd already maybe not die. This guy, whenever we gain life, we draw a card. And if we're going to gain 2 life every turn, we're going to be drawing an extra card every turn. So he's great card draw, helps us not slow down in the end game where we start top decking. Snapcaster Mage helps us play anything back. So this is more the utility cards right now. We have Snapcaster, and then Savor the Moment's actually incredible because it's only 3 mana, and it helps us take an extra turn, but we just don't untap our lands. So we get the whole extra turn, so we get to draw a card. If nothing else, it's 3 mana to draw a card and have another attack phase. But with those cards we had back over here, where at the beginning of our turn, we'd win the game, right, with one of these, what we can do is basically I play that, and then everyone's like around the table like, oh no, they have till next turn to be able to take me out or take care of this enchantment. But if we just play for 3 mana, Savor the Moment, we just take our extra turn, we get our upkeep trigger, and win the game. Teferi's Protection, another, just helps us stay safe. If we're about to die, we can... it's a protection spell where we get to leave the game for 1 table round and then come back in. Then Time Warp help us take another turn because it's 5 mana. That's why I like that one. Reanimate, pull back one of our creatures from the graveyard. Then Elspeth gives a creature flying, so it can basically give some evasion for one of those 50/50 creatures that we make, or makes our everything indestructible, which is also nice. This card, if we gain life, we gain twice as much life. If we draw a card, we draw twice as many cards. Very nice. Then whenever we gain life, we may draw a card. So we're here in our card draw. Whenever we gain life, we may pay mana to draw a card. And then Phyrexian Arena, at the beginning of our turn, we lose 1 life and draw a card. And if we're gaining 2 life a turn, we're still netting 1 life. Very nice. Mind's Eye, whenever opponent draws a card, we may pay 1 mana and draw a card. Sphere of Safety. So now we're here to some of the protection stuff. So we have Propaganda, Sphere of Safety, and Ghostly Prison. These 3, basically, if our opponent wants to attack us, they'd have to pay 2 mana for this, 2 mana for that. And we have a decent amount of enchantments, so Sphere of Safety is also nice in this deck, where they have to just pay an insane amount of mana to be able to attack us. Then we have our bunch of tutors. We have the Demonic Tutor, Enlightened Tutor, Grimm's Tutor, and Enlightened Tutor, and Idyllic Tutor, and Mystical Tutor. And I've also ordered a Vampiric Tutor, but it has not come yet. Now we have the removal. So we have Utter End, exile a non-land permanent. Prison of the Moon's perfect for getting rid of a commander. Swords to Plowshare, and then Anguished Unmaking. So exiling all these creatures is perfect to exile rather than just destroy. Then Path to Exile, so another exile creature. And now we're to the board wipes. We have Toxic Deluge, where all our creatures get negative X whatever life we pay. And if we always have like over 100 life in this deck, it's going to be easy to pay 10 life and just wipe the board out and be able to destroy indestructible stuff with this card. Then Vanquish the Horde's very nice in Commander because typically it costs 2 mana for a board wipe. Fumigate, another great board wipe, helping us in our endeavors of gaining life because we gain 1 life for each creature destroyed. And then this one's great because it is the most utility. We can exile all artifacts, enchantments, creatures, or planeswalkers. So we get to choose whatever we want to get rid of. Cyclonic Rift, 1-sided board wipe. Supreme Verdict, just board wipe that can't be countered. And Mana Drain. So now we are here in the counter spells. We have Mana Drain, Dovin's Veto, and Counterspell. So just 3 counters to help protect stuff. It's just always nice to have a couple. And now we're in our artifact ramp. We have the 3 signets, the Dimmer Signet, Arzirius Signet, and Ozov Signet. Yeah. The signets of them all. So for each color. So for black, white, blue, black, and all the white, blue, white. Then Fellware Stone taps for any color that our opponent could do. So because we have 3 of the 5 colors in this deck, mostly you're going to have it. Sol Ring, best commander card. Arcane Signet, also another best commander card. And Commander's Field helps us draw a card if we don't really need that at the time. It's nice to be able to sacrifice it. Now let's get to our lands. So I've sorted out my lands by very basic. We have our 3 shock lands. For the 3 colors, we have white, blue, black is our color deck. So we have the 3 to match that. Fledgestrand, Pluto Delta, and Marsh Flats, the fetch lands for that. Then we have our 3 man lands. These creatures can turn into lands. And then these 3, if we have 2 or more opponents, they enter untapped, which is perfect in Commander. These new ones, if we have 2 or more lands, then they enter untapped. And they're all the dual lands. And then the Vivid Creeks enter tapped, but they give us 2 charge counters. So basically, when we tap it, we have 2 times where we can choose any color. So these are perfect to start out the game when we're having a little bit of struggle with the exact colors to choose. And then we have the 3 new lands. These ones are amazing because they enter untapped and they can do just special things like bring a creature back, destroy something, and bounce a creature. And there's no other downside really. And then Rogue's Passage just makes the creature unblockable. So when we have that 50-50, we can make the creature unblockable. And then Exotic Orchard gives us 1 mana color of any color, really. And then Fabled Passage, pull out a basic. And then this, if we have one of our enchantments die, we can pull it back on top of our graveyard. Command Tower, best land card for a commander deck. Arcane Sanctum, the tri-land for my deck. Field of the Dead is so good because every time we play a land that is a different name than one that's already on the battlefield, we get a 2/2 zombie. So it's free tokens for all 30 of these lands that all have different names. Yeah, we have a lot. Now, I do have a lot of non-basic lands. We only have 3 of each basic of the color types we have. So I could get hit pretty hard with the Blood Moon or some of the ones that punish non-basic lands. But most of the time my play group doesn't really play with those. So I think it's worth taking the risk and getting almost always having perfect mana. And that is my Oloro deck. Lastly, the deck list is in the description, so go check it out yourself. And thank you to Fox Noctum for doing the card altar if you want to check him out. Link in the description to his Twitter page where you can get your own altars done.